Well, it started when we moved in February 1964. I'd be 8, nearly 9. I remember it was really snowy at the time, and there was this bus terminus just 2 stops up the road from our new house. The terminus was outside my school, actually, so I got to see buses all the time. I'd never seen so many buses before, and I was really intrigued by them. So that's how I got interested, when I was 8. Then, when I was 9, a whole new fleet of buses came out. The 3698 to the 3710, and they came on the 163 route. And these new buses, they had no doors. I know, even you're intrigued now, aren't you? They were new buses, but they were the last of the old design, with the open back. And because I was fascinated by this new fleet, I asked my mum and dad if I could have threepence, old money, every day, so I could ride on the buses to school and back. My dad thought it were a bit odd, but they agreed because it was a hobby. So I got my spends for it. Sometimes I'd ride an extra stop and walk back. You could for the same money. In time, I would get to know the conductors. I chatted to them at the terminus to start with. Then when I got to know them, I'd say, "Hello," whatever their name was, and they'd say, "Hello, lad." They'd never seen a little boy so interested in buses, so they were quite friendly. Unless Walter Cutler, the bus inspector, was about. He was like the Gestapo. The conductors didn't like him. But they'd let me collect the fares and carry the ticket machine, and they'd let me change the destination blind. And turning it to Cannon Street was quite a lot of turns. Some of them would let me ride for free. Not often, but on occasions. And they'd give me old uniforms and badges. I've still got 2 of the badges they gave me. And hats. I did have a Lancashire United Transport bus inspector's hat, but Major and Alsatian I had ate it. Then, a year later, my dad said I could have a cheap all-day ticket once a month, which went anywhere. That was 1 and 3 old money. So then, I could go to another local town where there were even more buses. The 59, the 121, the 142, that was a single-decker, and they all used to cross over at the bus garage. That was a wonderful place to be. And once a month, I used to spend all day Saturday there. Just once a month, mind. I couldn't go every week. It was a treat. We moved again, this time off the main route. But when I went to grammar school, I used to go on 2 buses, which of course introduced me to new buses and new bus routes. My entire summer holidays would be spent going round the bus garages. On my own. I expect my mum might have been a bit worried, but it was my hobby. I'd take money with me so I could get some dinner at the chippy. Kids did then. Steak pudding, chips and gravy was my usual. By this time, my bus memorabilia collection properly started. Some things they'd give me for free, and some things I'd have to pay for. For example, the timetables came out twice a year, so I'd wait until the summer one was about to run out, and I'd go to the main bus garage and ask if I could have the old timetables, because they had them for all the bus routes there. It was like the internet in book form. The fellas seemed glad to give them away, saved throwing them out. Them and old unused tickets. I got a lot of unused tickets. But, inevitably, I soon had my sights set on bigger things for my collection. And shy kids get note, so I'd go around the bus garages and I'd say to the fellas, "Have you got any old destination blinds I could have? Or a broken ticket machine?" They'd say, "I don't know, lad, let's go and have a look." Well, I'd have to pay for them, but it was worth it. So that's when it really took off. I ended up with cases and cases of memorabilia. Knowing I wouldn't be the only bus enthusiast out there, when I was 14, I decided to join the Omnibus Society, and we'd go on trips to bus garages around the region. Well, this was full of geeks, so I started to sell them all this tat I had. Timetables and tickets and whatnot, and Buses Illustrated magazines. I'd sell a bundle of 10 for £1. Within another year or 2, I realised that I wanted to be a guitar player, and then a roadie. So I decided to sell everything, all my bus memorabilia. I advertised it in Buses Illustrated magazine. People would send me a postal order and I'd post things out to them. The timetables and old tickets went like hotcakes, and I'd get 45 shillings for a ticket machine. I've seen them go for 80 quid now. And that's how I bought my first guitar and amp. At 16, it cost £100, which was a lot of money then. But that's how popular the bus memorabilia was. That's how much I had. And I know you're dying to ask, what was my favourite bus? Well, it was the 3707. Happy times. The summer of 1964. Happy times.
Busboy was performed by Richard Hollick and written by Claire Spratt.